Phase of Moon, taking your calls from around the world. I don't know, we're getting cut off, so I had to go to the phone tonight. Calling in on my own radio with my own phone? Oh, wow, here we go again. Well, anyway, the number to call in is 347-934-0378. This is November 27, 2015. Blake Cousins here, taking calls from around the world. I hope everything's going okay for you. The Thanksgiving holiday, I know mine was good. Let's see, what do we got? Everything going on okay in the flash chat? People are saying I got a bad echo coming in. You know what? We're going to try and fix up the audio. Everything seems like it's coming in good, okay? I hope so. We're going to be taking calls. Let's get to it. We got big sightings this week. One of the biggest, I say, was the one out of Indonesia. You know, you look at what was captured over there. Brent was saying it looks like this Trident missile thing again, or this missile kind of what. He's not saying it's a missile. He's just saying it looks like a lot of this stuff that people are saying that are missiles, but it might not be. But it looked like a time portal rip in the night skies, and I think the video is pretty amazing in itself. We've heard that in Indonesia and that area, they've been experiencing weird weather over the past week. The people have decided already right here on Third Phase of Moon YouTube that they believe that it's something very unnatural, something that could be spiritual in a sense, but definitely is unidentified flying object in the sky, very bright, very luminous. A time portal opening, some people are saying. Is CERN part of this? Is HARP? HARP, I don't know. Government says HARP isn't operational anymore. There's a lot of questions going on, and a lot of people are calling in tonight. So we're going to get to it right now. Everybody, thanks for joining us, Third Phase of Moon. Let's get to Jesse. Jesse's been away for a few weeks, and we're going to get to everybody tonight. And if they got questions for Jesse, he's an abductee. He killed an alien when he was 12 years old, and he's willing to take questions in regards to this close encounter and deadly encounter with an alien. He's been aboard the ship a few times, him and his friend, when they're, 14? I think they're 14, and then a tragedy has happened. His friend's girlfriend was abducted for alien hybrid breeding. You heard it. You heard me right. Abducted for alien hybrid breeding. And when the aliens came and took their child back, the mom was left alone without a child, and she shortly thereafter killed herself, shot herself in the head, depressed about this abduction, double abduction, I'd say. Abducted for hybrid breeding, and then once again abducted again to have this hybrid baby removed, and then they abduct the baby. So it's a triple abduction. Am I right, Jesse? We got Jesse here. Did I explain that?
Yeah, that was really good. It was a good way to look at it because it's kind of how it went down. It happened after that happened, the incident in the woods. We left and all went to different places because we were not wanting to stay in the same state. So we left a different state, thinking that would be good enough not to be anywhere near where we were at, and that didn't do any good.
You know, Jesse.
Yeah.
We're thinking about hearing your experiences and actually maybe doing a later feature, your whole experience in a recreation of what it is, and kind of a visual concept of exactly what's happening, because your story is amazing, and words are one thing, but visual.
Yeah, it would be crazy it would be really crazy. I mean, I remember most of it because I was awake, but I've been hypnotized a few times to remember some of the stuff I didn't remember. And there was a lot of screen, plant, and memories. I mean, I have a few of my hypnotherapy sessions recorded, and I've listened to them after it happened, and it was a lot of stuff I remembered, but there was some stuff I did not, and it was just almost like taking me back to the time it happened, and it was just like, it's a weird feeling knowing you're not there, but feeling like you were. And yeah.
Would you be willing? And I know there's a lot of people in your experience that want to remain anonymous, and then there's others that are willing to come forward and share their experience with their face. Would you be up for a possible Skype interview one-on-one, and we could work something out and show what Jesse looks like to the world?
Well, I don't have a computer, so I don't have Skype.
Okay.
So, yeah, there could be a possibility if I'm on Santa's good list, I might get a PS4, and then that could happen from there. But yeah, I don't have a computer. I was hoping to. Huh?
Have you written any notes? I know there's a lot of drawings that you've shared with us, and we're going to hopefully share these again when we're talking to you as we speak right now.
Yeah.
And
they were all upside down. They were all upside down.
Last time we showed them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Last time we showed them, approximately maybe a month ago, I made a mistake. I didn't know what I was looking at. It wasn't. You really don't know. You're drawing,
right,
as you say.
Know how to read it, right? Come on, Blake. Don't bunch of alien alphabet.
So now I'm going to turn the art, as you drew it, right side up. So we're looking at it the way you meant it to be seen.
Yeah.
Hey, Jesse, you know what? There's going to be a lot of people calling in tonight, but how many times have you been aboard a ship?
Oh, my gosh. At least 13 or 14 times that I remember. There was, I remember getting to hear the show past couple of times because I had to work, unfortunately, and I wanted to call him really bad, but I was busy working. And there was that kid who wanted to know more about what was in the cages and the cylinders. The best way I could describe it would be different giant insects. Imagine the insects from the dinosaur times, but with, they looked primitive. They looked old. They looked, some of them looked even like a rock. There was one that blended in so well you wouldn't even have seen it until it moved. And some of them were poisonous, deadly. Some of them were harmless. Some of them were like they raised them almost. It's like they'd go to different planets and capture different kinds of insects or animals from those planets, and then they would study them. And from what I gathered, they were there to be like scientists, like our scientists go into the woods and they capture an animal and they bag it and then they tag it and then they study it and then they release it. They don't intentionally try to kill it because they want to study it. But sometimes when you study it, you have to do the autopsy on one so that way you can find out the insides and how it works. And that's what they do. They go around throughout the universe and they do that. And there was crazy, scary things I saw in cylinders and some things that were like, are you kidding me? That this shouldn't even exist. Because there's some stuff that, there was like some kind of spider that, it was a crazy, creepy spider. If you were afraid of spiders, you probably wouldn't have had nightmares for at least a couple of years if you saw that.
Well, explain that to the audience, and also what you're sounding like is that these ETs are more like botanists, scientists that want to study marine biologists. They're just scientists trying to figure out what the universe is all about. And humans do autopsies and do cruel things all the time to animals, right?
Yeah. Well, they say that we're parasites because we're one of the only races that kills its own kind, and that's almost self-defeating to the species. Not very many races kill their own, so that way they thrive throughout the universe because it's not just about being on a planet. Imagine the human race throughout the universe and it being on more than just planet Earth. Imagine a time when there comes when you do find out how to time travel and you can actually go through time and space into the vortex, is what they call it. Because the vortex is very, very unpredictable, to say the least. Because, when you try to harness a wormhole to travel from shorter distances in a long space, you just appear in one area and show up way farther away in the other area without having to travel in between it. Those are you're talking about the portal you're talking about. They had that happen over in Norway. It had it on video camera. It shows a spiral thing, and it was black, and there's a small black hole, and it opens to get big. That was a portal. I believe they came in. They didn't go out because it was there for a very short time, so they came in through it, and then it closed. But, yeah, it was crazy. I remember hearing about the guy who said he saw me and heard me at a new MUFON meeting. I don't remember his name. But yeah, at the time I was homeless. I totally forgot about that detail, I guess. I didn't think it was important. But yep, that was the only missing link. I mean, I didn't mention at the time. I was not proud of it, but that's what it was, I guess.
Oh, well, everybody has their hard times, and sometimes you got to bounce back out, and that's what we do as humans, and that's nothing wrong with hard times. There's always better times.
Yeah.
You know what, Jesse, I want to hear about more animals that you've experienced, extraterrestrial animals that you've seen aboard the craft, and more insight of what it's like to be abducted. What we're going to do is take a break. We're going to get to callers from around the world, and we're going to get back to Jesse about extraterrestrial animals. Now, that's kind of cool. I haven't heard that quite explained the way Jesse just did. This is Blake Cousins, Third Phase of Moon. We'll be right back. Callers in tonight, Third Phase Moon. We're going to try and get to all of them tonight. The number to call in is 347-934-0378. We're going to San Bernardino, I think. And do we have John?
John?
818.
This is John McDonald. I called in earlier. You hear me?
I hear you loud and clear. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you, Blake. Thank you for accepting me on your show. I want to say you guys are doing a great job out there exposing the truth. And I have stories to tell of myself. I heard Jesse just talk.
Yeah.
And, I've kind of kept this really close, to my family and stuff and to my close friends. But my first memory as being a child was actually being abducted. And
really?
the way I could equate it was I used to watch Casper the Friendly Ghost when I was a kid. I was about 2 years old, and that's what I thought was picking me up and taking me out of the room that I was in. And I was always confused by that. That was my first memory, and I asked my mom. I said, did we live? Because I guess when I was young, when I was 2 years old, we were very rich. We were poor, and they made me sleep on the couch. It was a one-bedroom apartment, and they slept in the bedroom. I slept on the couch. So I remember just being picked up by, it must have been like 6 beings that, to me, I equated to Casper, the Friendly Ghost. But as I grew older, I kind of forgot that. I just, went on, and then I went to a store, and I'm sure you know Whitley Strieber. His book Communion, on his first book, had a face of an alien. I saw that, and it freaked me out. I am not kidding you, Blake. It literally shook something in me. And then I remembered that. And then I don't have anything like as dramatic as, Jesse. I only remember that bit, and my mom cannot believe that I could remember that at 2 years old, where I was at. And I've never had at least an abduction, but I've had sightings. The next time I saw a UFO.
John, have you ever thought about doing?
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're talking. I know you want to talk about self-hypnosis, and I've wondered about that too, Blake.
Yeah, well, I think you might want to do that.
I'm afraid it might be a horror story like Jesse's. I'm listening to these things.
Let's ask Jesse. Were you glad that you did?
Yeah, actually, I was. I kind of got enlightened. It's almost like a privilege. I've been trying to figure out the rest of my life why I was chosen. I got to see stuff that I can't really describe in words. Nothing.
Right.
At the same time, the very first part of it was ultimately terrifying. I could never tell you and describe you the fear that we felt when you see a life form right in front of you.
Absolutely, man. And that's,
Yep. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just want to add to that when I've always been a very athletic person, never been really afraid of anything, but that thing, after that happened, my parents couldn't understand why I didn't want to be alone. I was always afraid of being alone in the dark, away from, away from my parents. So I'm not sure if my parents were I don't think they were, but I don't know. It's like I was very scared. After that happened to me, I was scared to death. And the thought of actually going back to that, maybe I should.
Don, where did you live at the time? What was the setting like?
It was in Loma Linda, California, from what my mother told me. I was born in Loma Linda University on July 1st, 1972. I'm not going to lie to anybody on this show. I'm not afraid to say who I am. I'm John McDonald, born July 1st, 1972. Was born at Loma Linda University. My father was actually just he was a training nurse. You know what I mean? He was a nurse, and he was just actually learning how to do the job. And after about a couple of years after I was born, this is all when it happened. We still lived out there. He was actually a nurse at that time, like I said, when I was born. So, but since then we moved to, when I was very young, moved to the West Valley here. But that happened in Loma Linda, California.
Some people are asking because, this is a pretty good question, because blood type. When you have a certain blood type, you're more...
Yeah, I'm O positive.
And and are you, Jesse, are you O positive? Are you aware of your blood type as well?
Actually, no, I have no clue what my blood type is, but they were very interested in our blood. They studied that. They studied the plasma. They studied the white blood cells, the red blood cells, the immune system. They studied a lot of stuff. Hey, John, I have a question for you. Have you ever have you ever been laying down where you feel like you can't move at all?
Well, not. I think I can't really remember. Only that one time. Only that one time where I wasn't able to move. The very first one I were told where I thought Caspers came and took me. That's the only time I can remember it being immobile and couldn't really, I was trying to scream and couldn't do it. Other than that, through my whole life, I have not, as far as I remember, that happening to me. So, like I said, maybe I'm lucky. Maybe, you got the brunt of it, man. I don't know. Maybe they just took me when I was a kid and did something. But I believe you, bro. I really do.
Yeah.
That's why I'm calling it Third Phase.
Yeah. Definitely.
I'm a first-time caller, man. I've never called here before.
Well, yeah.
That's
thank you, Blake, for what you do. I'm surprised you haven't been harassed by the government for what you do.
I don't care, man. You know what? I don't. I'm not a very prolific person. I do a lot of things in my community for sure. There's a lot of people around here that know me. But I am not afraid. I tell everybody that I see about my beliefs. I just don't, I tell it to everybody. So to me, I'm not afraid. The government can do what they want. But I'm a little man, you know what I mean, as far as the government is really concerned. So
you know what? This is what we're going to. Yep. You know, that's right. More people talking, the more people are aware, the more power you have, and I think that's what Third Phase Moon has. Because once it comes in and we put it out, we got a lot of people watching it real fast. They're not forgetting. They're sharing it with their friends. The word's out at that point. So that's what I love about information at light speed. We're going to bring in Jesse back, and if John's got some questions, I like the back and forth kind of dialogue going here between an abductee and a possible abductee. John's encounter, the way he explains it, with multiple entities, would you say, coming in, abducting you. I hear this story all the time, and it happens when you're a child. It happens early. And when John says that he saw this communion face, then he put two and two together. Then he found out all by himself what was going on. Nobody told him. You know, me and Brent have some encounters we've had ourselves, and you know what? We're going to save that for another time. But wow, what I've been hearing tonight has been bringing up some hairs standing off on the back of my neck. We've had 4 when we're 4 years old. Something went down as well. So wow. We're going to get back to John and Jesse here real soon, but we're going to also let callers call in so they could share and get in as well. 214, welcome to the show. You're live, Third Phase of Moon.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Yes,
welcome
hello.
to the show. Yeah, is this Quatra you called in?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Quatra. Welcome to Third Phase. You said you wanted to give some insight. You had an opinion on something? Go ahead.
I just think that all these mass sightings recently have just been very interesting, and it's more than just a coincidence.
Well, absolutely. Did you see the latest video that was just posted up on Third Phase?
Yeah, I did the one in Indonesia, and I also saw the one that was out on that man's ranch with like the oscillating saucer or whatever. It was like oscillating and turning side to side. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Making that weird noise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jack. Yeah, that was pretty good stuff. He said he's going to call in soon, and he might have some. He said things been active on the ranch as of lately. So hopefully Jack.
So there's some more interference there with the livestock.
Well, he says it's been going on for a while over there, and he just gotten his camera, so he's glad to capture this, and he said he'll keep in touch. And, when sightings like this happen, it's not a one-time occurrence usually. They happen in patterns and over more than once throughout the year, so in the same place sometimes. That's what's kind of weird as well.
Mm-hmm.
My question. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Quattro. What was your question? Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So I've been just doing a lot of research about just like our government's relation to these beings and their technologies, and just kind of wonder if this is a working of our government or a combination of both, or just the beings themselves.
Well, that's a pretty interesting question. Wow, I don't have the answer. Maybe Jesse does.
Yep.
Did you get the question on that?
Yeah, it is a good question. The answer would be both, because part of our government's known about this since before Roswell. They've been working with and trade for allowing them to abduct humans, to getting extra technology from the 50s all the way on, that big giant jump and leap in technologies, because we've reverse engineered one of the UFOs they shot down. But yeah, it was both, because they have a thing called Dulce, New Mexico, is otherwise known as what is called Nightmare Hall, and that is where they allow aliens to do crazy experiments, not like you would have on the UFOs. Those are not the good kind. The good, there's benevolent, and there's evil, and there's good, and there's bad. I mean, it's just kind of like humans. I mean, you have good humans and bad humans, but they're still humans. But there's different races that are good and bad. But one thing I did want to say, Blake, is thank you, for one, for what you do. I'm surprised you haven't been harassed or been cut off the air for what you do, because what you do is amazing. You give an outlet, and I would try to encourage other people who've had experiences to speak up, to let it be known to the public what's really going on. We don't know what's going on or why, but it has still happened regardless. And I know there's other people out there.
Yeah, Jesse, it's not all been smooth sailing over here. We've had our fights that nobody's seen inside Bill. And, it's not always anonymous people coming at you. You never know where it's coming from. Some things have been shut down. There's some things you have not seen, unfortunately. And, it is it's scary at times. But, we put up the fight, so we do the best we can, and I think we're doing a good job. And, this is raw the way it is. People submit videos all the time. They know who they are, and we put out what they put out. And then there's a lot of stuff that we don't get to put out that people submit just because there's just so much of there's a lot of these videos that we put out years ago that kind of look like lights in the sky. Now I'm thinking more Chinese lantern. You don't see that kind of stuff on Third Phase of Moon, these Chinese lantern kind of lights in there, unless it's doing something unusual in the sky. But, we're going to try and stay on air. We always, check our sources, check who we're dealing with, so we know when we put up a video that we're dealing with the people and the proper person that shot it. That's the best we possibly can do. And then once we put it out, how are they going to stop it? That's the hard part. But, there's some issues. You know what? We want to get to that, what's going on as far as extraterrestrial creatures, and maybe some more questions into Jesse. But we got some more callers. Let's get to a caller that's been holding on for a while. Thanks for waiting. 651, you're live, Third Phase of Moon. Welcome to the show. 651, you there? Let's see. This is weird. I got him on live. Try and bring him on. We got one more chance. 615 dropped out. So we'll go to 612. Welcome to the show. You're live. Oh, no, that's Jesse. Hold on, Jess. Here's another caller. Let's go to 480. You there? 480?
I don't know.
Code 480. Hi.
Hello?
Hello?
Oh.
Yep. You're live. Third Phase Moon. Blake Cousins here. Go ahead.
Holy crap. Well, I have a couple different experiences. It was very similar to the gentleman that was talking about when he was younger, except I was about 5, and it seemed more like a dream. The only thing that's weird about it is that in my dream, my unborn siblings were in it. That was really trippy. We were driving down a dirt road, and my father was driving erratically. My mother kept, saying we were going to be okay. And then all of a sudden, he just slams on his brakes, and he says, "Everybody get out of the car, run, get down, don't try and be brave." And so we do this, and it's all so very real. I'm looking at my sister and my brother across the way, and like I said, they're not born yet. I was only 5. And my father starts yelling at this thing in the sky. And all of a sudden, everything was completely illuminated, and my father starts screaming in this ungodly sound. I don't even know how to describe it. It was very unnatural, and he was in excruciating pain. And then there was this bright light, and I see what it is, and I still don't know what it is that I'm looking at, but it was this really dark, almost iridescent-looking gray material. And it's lifting my father up, and it's making no noise, but there's just chaos all around this thing. And before they take him into this thing, I woke up. and it was just unlike anything I had ever experienced before. I still don't really know what to make of that. But most recently, it's really kind of creepy to talk about for me still, but I noticed that there was this crazy light in the sky, and I kept being drawn to it, and I started taking pictures with it with my cell phone, and as I was zooming in on the photo itself, it started to look like different types of symbols. Like one was a crucifix, the other one was a perfect symmetrical square, and it would warp into different symbols. And I've been documenting this for a while now, but the first night it happened, I started interrogating it, almost like antagonizing it, like my father was in that dream. And later that night, I came inside to go to bed, and I didn't even lay down yet, but it felt like it just happened. But my roommate said that I had laid down, and I started screaming, "Help me, God, help me, they're putting me in the tube. They're putting me in the tube." And what I remember is they came in. There was 4 or 5 of them. They were these like really weird, awkward shaped humanoid-looking things. And there was no words exchanged. It was all like telekinesis.
Telepathic?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, definitely. It was like I knew what they were saying without them even really giving an expression. It was very bizarre. And they just said, "You're going to come with us." And I was like, "Okay, I'm going to go with you." There was no like argument. There was no fighting, but I did feel alarmed. Like, why can't I run, or why can't I do anything? It was just, I was kind of brain dead almost, but aware. It's very hard to explain. And they took me on this, it looked like a car almost, but not a car, like small, like a car. And when I got inside, it was very big and open, and there was a weird luminous type of light, but I wouldn't even call it a light. It was like just an energy. And I remember when they were putting me in the tube, that's when I really started to get scared, because this tube was like an hexagon on the inside, but round on the outside. And every side of this tube that I was forced to be in was like an observation type of screen. And I knew like each side there was a different person observing me. And pretty much that was the end of it, because that's when my roommate basically was able to awaken me. And I feel like I wasn't physically abducted. I feel like it was more an abduction of my consciousness, if that makes any sense.
A mind abduction comes to mind. You know, what's amazing tonight, we've had callers, and now we have, I think this is the 3rd caller that is saying basically the exact same experience that a lot of people have had. And this is within 40 minutes. You know, this is not unusual. This is commonplace, people. People got to wake up that this isn't weird, wacko. This is normal people, regular people out there, professionals of all types, all classes. They all had these experiences. Right here, I think we got F1. He's been abducted. Welcome to the show, F1.
Yeah, really cool, Blake. First of all, man, I'm so happy, but it's like subdued happy, because my God, it's finally, through you, and I'm not trying to blow your head up too much, but from the no, really, bro, because through the longevity of the show and the progression of the people that have gradually called in that have, they just really want to tell the story, and it's through the amount of those gradually getting greater that people are calling in because it's a more comfortable subject where they don't feel like they're going to be ridiculed, but they want to relate to these people to say, wow, thank you, and let me help you too, because you said things that helped me release memories that were maybe subdued or not so well organized until they listened to other people where they could relate and remember similar experiences that then triggered the ability for other three-lock box memories to come back, and it's like...
exactly. That's, F1 nailed it right on the head. Memory recall through a voice or story recognition. F1, sorry to cut you off there, but let's hear what you just... I know you just said that something triggered your memory, so I want to hear what you just heard that triggered what memory. Give us some detail here.
Okay, there's been many, but I want to give a lot of credit. I'm so sorry, but it's Bill Vike, who now lives in Canada. He really took me under his wing and made me feel like I wouldn't be ridiculed. I could actually feel he had such a personality that made me feel comfortable, and that was kind of like this, because believe me, before you, Blake, I've been searching for this for years, and finally I just said, F it, man. I need to just ask these questions. And before my mom died, I asked her stuff like, well, one of the things that I heard was that people that sleepwalk, and I asked my mom, and she said yes, and she felt guilty because a lot of times when I was very young, people would bring me home, and I heard this from other people. What's really cool, though, it's almost like I feel like he listened to me and copied me, but that's just, I want to tell you, that's so weird that the young man that said about Casper, because if you remember, I told you the same thing about, that's funny, I felt like that was Casper taking me up, and you know what, Casper wasn't even on TV when I was a kid. So it's really weird, but things like that, it's a bunch of different things from people that help me. It's such a slow process, especially when we didn't have shows like yourself because no one, you don't just go up and talk to people and say, hey, does this ever happen to you? And they're like, what a freaking lunatic that guy is.
No, we live in Hawaii. It's the Aloha state, right? And,
yeah, but I lived there for many years.
Hey, F1, this is John McDonald.
Yeah,
and,
I'm here, buddy.
Yeah, I was just wondering, it was cool that weren't you the one that were talking about Casper?
Absolutely. It looked like Casper the Friendly Ghost to me.
Yeah, bro. What's weird? Let me blow your mind, because I've already gone into this heavily.
I've heard you.
That's
man, why I'm calling in.
Yeah, what's really trippy, bro, is that, and then I've confirmed this through sightings too. It always seems to be two small extraterrestrials with one rather large one that's almost twice their size. And if you remember on Casper, his brothers were big, really big, and not too nice.
Yeah, they were the badasses.
Yeah. And
it felt like I was taken away by the badass fucking Casper brothers. That's what it felt like.
And that always scared the crap out of me.
Me too, and it's always stuck with me, man. And I'm telling you, it wasn't a dream. I forgot to mention this to Blake, but I actually got taken out. I don't remember how it happened, how I got out, but there was a bright light, and it was coming out really hard. It was weird. I just don't know. I floated. It was almost like they picked me up and floated me to the craft, and that's the only way I can explain it.
When I was a kid, brother, You know what's really weird too is like this is like Blake's asking what were the trigger objects that helped you remember. Well, for people talking, you know, I always told my mom. We lived in Massachusetts, and when I was a kid, and I always would see, and I mean, it's so freaking cool to hear people confirm this a million different times through credible sources, and you know what credible is after you've spent so much time and you're able to weed out the real from the unreal. About there was always an owl outside my window. Always.
An owl.
And it wasn't just sitting there. Now, wait a minute. What the frick is this owl doing looking in through the window?
I have seen too many owls just standing out, dude. Not through a window, but just personally. I mean, it's like, it's weird. And I didn't really correlate that until this whole thing. I mean, but honestly, I mean, I understand what you're saying, bro. I mean, you are amazing. I'm glad we can all share this.
F1's the man, and he's served our country as well, and he's passionate. He wants to know what's going on, and it's cool that there's two already collaborating. It's for people that have never met each other, and they're having the same stories from different upbringings. You know, these aren't dreams. This is reality, in my opinion. We got a few more minutes. We're going to get as much callers as we possibly can. F1, we're going to get back to you. Everybody, we might have it a little extended because I want to get Jesse's details of some of these extraterrestrial creatures that he's seen, that aliens have brought aboard their ships from different planets. That's absolutely incredible to me. Let's get to a caller right now, 226. Thanks for waiting. You're live, Third Phase of Moon. 226, you there? Going once? Going twice? 226? Sorry, you got to go. Got to make room. Got to make room for callers. 703, you're live. Thanks for calling in.
Hello?
Third Phase. Hello, yeah.
Hello?
Hello, yeah,
hey.
you're talking.
Oh.
How's it going?
Well, actually, it's, you know, kind of, it's weird because I never associated the owl, but now that I hear so many people talking about it, it's so crazy because that was my trigger. I saw an owl, and it's weird that I can now connect the dots, you know what I'm saying?
Well, exactly.
Absolutely.
Well, you know, that's, yeah, we got John and F1. Go ahead. So you've seen the owl similarities as well?
Yeah, I mean,
what's your name,
sir?
Sir?
I saw, honestly,
name,
is it all right if I prefer to be a little anonymous? Can I just go by John?
Yeah, no problem, John. Yeah. No problem.
But can I share my story? Is that okay?
Yeah, let's hear it. Thanks. Call it in. Everybody wants to hear it. You're on live, Third Phase of Moon, John. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. It was a few years back. I was having a family reunion with my brothers down in Georgia, and what I like to do, because it's a 3-day place at a little retreat we own, so what I like to do is late nights on the warm summer nights of Georgia, I like to go outside, you know, grab a Coca-Cola and sit out and enjoy the night. It's crazy how beautiful it gets out there, and you can see all the stars. And so, you know, I'm sitting out there with a Coke, and, you know, I see these owls, and about 5 minutes later, bright light up in the sky. And I have anxiety, in which when I get really stressed, I like to start to get tunnel vision, and I black out. So bright light, I look up, I see one main light and 3 surrounding lights. And immediately that kicks in. I feel like, you know, I get this weird tingling sensation, and then I black out. When I open my eyes, it's like a red-lit room, and I just see 2 figures. And the red made it really hard to see, you know what I'm saying? But I see just 2 figures, and they look like they're in like a lot of, you know, weird coverings. And you know, it's like a bad dream because I'm blacking out. I have like tunnel vision. Everything's hard to see, but sorry, I've never shared this. I'm kind of really nervous and emotional.
It's okay, Johnny. You're not the first time that people have called into the show for the first time. and share it to the public. And people sometimes never shared it with anybody. You're welcome here, and welcome to Third Phase, man. Go ahead.
Thanks. But I'm looking around, trying to make sense of what I'm getting. And at the time, I had no idea because I was never a big believer at this point. And I just see two figures. I thought maybe somehow it's my brothers, and I try to scream, but I realize I can't. Like, I have little control over my body other than, kind of looking around. It's really hard. So, and I turn next to me, I see other tables, where people have been, not people, but things have been strapped down like I was. I'd been strapped down on a table. I only had my pants on. I was missing my shirt and the watch and the glasses I usually have. And I see one of the figures, messing with my watch. And at this point, I start to tunnel out again because I have no idea what's going on. And I wake up in the morning. I just wake back up in the morning with my chair. My soda had fallen by my side, and I covered in mosquito bites because it's Georgia. And I would have associated it with a bad dream, if not for the fact that my glasses and my shirt and my watch, they were still off. They were still off by the ground, and, I saw these weird markings, like in prints. And I don't know, like, they looked, honestly, if I didn't know any better, they looked like footprints, but of something, like, really weird, like of an animal I'd never seen before. And I saw these by the ground, next to my clothes. And I've never even talked to my brothers about it. But I woke up at about 7:30. I shook it off and went back inside and, drank some coffee and collected my nerves. I mean, and it's weird to talk about it. I'm sorry, I never shared this before, and it's crazy that other people are having these triggers, like the owls, and because when I was on that table, when I looked over, I saw
the
another
communion
table.
face.
Huh?
The communion face, what I saw in the book.
Yeah.
The owl face, the big almond eyes, yeah, I know what you're talking about, man.
Yeah, because, that's like, I'm not crazy.
You're not.
But I think the most striking part of that was when I looked over, I saw something else strapped down. And at that moment, I felt not only scared for me, but I was able to immediately empathize with the thing that I saw strapped down over there. Because, in the red light, it was hard to see, but I'm telling you, man, I saw something, and I was scared for both of us.
Wow. Well, John, I would like to say thank you for sharing your story. That's amazing. Thanks for going out there and having enough courage to speak out and let everybody know. That's amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, all morning I had been thinking about planning.
Right now, you're talking with.
About it, but.
Let me just tell you, John, that was Jesse, and we got a couple Johns on, and a few callers that have been abducted. But Jesse has been on the show a few times, and he's thanking you for sharing your experience, man. Thank you, because we'll need to know.
Thank you for giving me an outlet, man. Because now, I finally found someone I know I can really identify with, and someone who we can understand each other, because for a long time I was scared. I thought I had lost my mind or something, but it's good to know that,
I know the feeling, yeah. Well, from what I've been told, I know another friend of mine who got abducted who had the owl experience. And from what I understand, that's Anunnaki. And it's I don't know if you've seen the movie The Fourth Kind. Talks about a hypnotherapist who gets abducted too. That has a lot of references to the owl, and I know a lot of people who've talked about the owl being associated with a false memory, and it's not really an owl. Obviously, it's an alien. But yeah, for both of you, the guy who said he had a dream and didn't know if that sounded to me like it was definitely an experience.
Hey, Jesse, we got you on, and there's a few more callers. We've got a few minutes left. tell me about this spider. This spider. What made you? Why do you say it looked like a spider?
Oh, well, there's a couple of different kinds. There was one of them, I mean, just looked kind of almost just like the movie Aliens, that little face thing that stuck on their face. It looked kind of like that. There was another one who, I don't even know what the silk was. It was almost like it was so strong of a silk web. It was almost like stronger than metal. I mean, it caught these weird-looking toad things that were in the cage. That's what it ate. And it would catch those in its web, and the toad couldn't even get out of it. And there was a few big giant centipedes. There was a spider that had way more than 8 eyes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So you're saying there's aliens, there's other planets out there with all kinds of life forms, and a lot of them are pretty much similar to Earth life forms because this is how life develops. But they're just... So is there anything that, like, any kind of creature that you know, we could touch an alien gray, you know, you're describing the spiders and these weird centipedes. Is there any kind of, like, creature that's like a light being, any energy being, something that you've come across?
I know there. I know that's what they told me there is. I haven't seen it. They didn't have them in the cages there on the ship that they showed me anyway. One of the things that was weird is their engine was partly alive, and it was a light being type thing. It was like almost like so far sophisticated AI that it was alive, and it was part energy, and it could change the shape of the ship. So it was almost, it had to be alive because it was the metal that it's almost like, looked like mercury when they changed the shape of whatever they wanted, because they had different shapes for different things. And
wow, that opens up possibilities in my mind and theories. You know, we got unfortunately, Third Phase of Moon is just about wrapping up. We got only a few minutes left. I'm going to let everybody have some last words here, but I want to get one last caller in, and it's all I could take for tonight. And we're back next week, Friday, and it's going to be 11 p.m. if you're in New York, and if you're in Los Angeles, it's 8 p.m. We're going to keep it at that time for a while, and then we'll be back. But let's get to the last caller, and then we'll get everybody's last words. Join us next week, Friday, 770. Thanks for calling in last minute. What do you got to say? This is Blake Cousins. You're speaking to him. Go ahead.
Hello?
Hello. Yep. We got a few minutes left.
Hey,
what do you got to say to Third Phase?
Yeah, I've got a question. One day, me and my wife saw it's kind of like I don't know if it's a spaceship or not, but best way to describe it was long and square, and it almost looked like it was in sections.
Where was this? What time of day or night? Was it at night?
No, it's midday. And I was talking to her about chemtrails and comtrails, and there were some planes that were flying really high. And so she was laying down by the pool, and she looks up, and she goes, well, what's that thing way up there? And so it took me a minute to focus in on it and see it. And once I saw it, I was like, I don't know, because there was no comtrail or chemtrail. It was just like sitting there. So, I kind of lined it up to the edge of my chimney, and we watched it, and it was like slowly moving. And I thought, how can that thing, sit up there so still, And I've searched the internet trying to figure out what this thing was, what it might be. To kind of give you the perspective, the planes that fly really high, it was as high as that, if not maybe a little higher. And if you were to take and put, 6 of those planes, in a row, that's how long it was. And I've always been real curious as to what in the world that might be, or maybe somebody else has seen it, or I don't know.
Wow, I'm glad I took this last caller unfortunately, this is a third phase of moon, and we're just about time. If anybody's seen a square craft, metallic, when was this seen? Today?
You know, it looked like it was kind of tannish color.
When and where? When and where, sir? When and where, sir?
Well, I'm in just east of Atlanta, and this was about 2.5 years ago.
2.5 years ago. You know, I've seen a lot of videos that have come in. I've never seen a square UFO, but they're. I'm sure they come in all shapes and sizes. You know, if we get it and somebody films it, they're going to be seeing it. You know what? This is it. Third Phase Moon Radio. We got a couple minutes left. John, real fast. Any last words?
Thank you very much,
Moon?
Blake. Thank you very much, Blake. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you for everything you guys helped me with. I'm going to look into that. I might consider hypnotherapy, but man, thank you guys. I will call you next week.
Come back anytime, man. We're all Jesse, thank you for joining us, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me again, Blake. Look forward to joining it again.
Third phase of moon.
Sorry about that, Jesse. I don't know what happened.
That's
Go ahead. Yep. Call back next week. We're going to collaborate, see if we could do some collaboration and get people to get a visual experience of what you experienced. Jesse, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Blake. Talk to you again.
Oh, right on.
Hey, Blake,
F1.
real quick.
Yep, go ahead.
Thank you so freaking much for one thing. I want these people that have called in, and you guys know who you are, that I think are the inner core right now that we've shared. Here, I want you to take my email. Can I give it over the air?
If you feel free, you can.
You got it. Okay, you guys, and Jesse, please take this down. John, please take this down, because you know what, man? FTW for the frickin' government and everything else that's trying to suppress us. This is my email, and everyone else, you feel free. I don't care what you do, man. You know what? It's going to be revealed so quickly. The time is so short. Everyone get ready. Here it is. MMCKENNA904@gmail.com. Keep this network going. It's mmckenna904@gmail.com, and that's how bitchin' I feel. I never do anything like this. I want you guys, I want a chat line to keep open, because this show should be 6 hours long.
I wish it could be. F1, appreciate the call in, and they're going to be hearing it on Third Phase Moon YouTube, and if you want to reach out to F1, you got the email, and I trust F1 will reach out to us if he comes across in collaboration, because what went down tonight was pretty awesome. You have multiple callers that have been abducted and a UFO sighting reported on the last caller of a square UFO. You know what is going on around the world is something, and it's happening quick, and it's happening fast. Be sure to check out Third Phase of Moon YouTube for the latest updates this week as they come in, the live UFO sightings. You know what, everybody? We're not alone. Keep your eyes on the skies. This is Blake Cousins. We'll see everybody again next week.